Welcome to the Rapid Research Podcast, where two friends answer the big questions after searching the internet for 30 minutes. Welcome back to Rapid Research, episode 4.
We are already on episode 4.
It seems like we just started this a couple days ago.
Yep, this is awesome. Very happy about it.
Very great. We've got a great show coming up. I think today is going to be a great day.
I'm very excited about this one. I'm excited about what we're going to do today. I'm nervous about this topic, if I'm being honest with you.
Why is that?
Well, our topic today is mascots. Okay, so sports mascots across all sorts of levels,
very open-ended. We're not putting
we could go anywhere
on this except sports mascots.
We could go anywhere with this, and I'm concerned to see what the general populace of humanity came up with for this. You know,
I've seen some very unique mascots out there, and there's unique team names, but very unique mascots. Like some of the ones that come to mind right off the bat are the Syracuse Orange.
Mm-hmm.
I think of
Philly Fanatic comes to mind.
Who is that?
The Philly Fanatic? That's the Phillies baseball team one. The big green guy, big long nose, like has something that sticks out of his nose. You know what I'm talking about?
Like a wart?
I think it's his nose.
I really don't know actually then.
Okay.
Like even the Buckeyes have kind of a weird looking mascot.
That is true. That is a weird.
You've got kind of classic ones like the Spartans.
Yeah.
Eagles are pretty normal.
Pretty easy. I will say I'm a Steelers fan, and we have a mascot.
Really?
Yeah.
What is it?
His name is Steely McBeam. I've been to like 2 or 3 Steelers games. I've never seen him. Like, he exists, but we never use him because he's not necessary, you know? And with that said, I would like to go into to hot take heaven. Hot take heaven.
For my hot take today, it is that I find every single interaction with a mascot to be uncomfortable and unnecessary. I think they are the most uncomfortable moments.
Okay. Are you saying uncomfortable when they interact with you, or you see them even interacting with somebody else?
I think anytime a mascot interacts with somebody, it's awkward and odd and scary. You have to convince a child to go stand next to them and take a picture, unless it's Snow White or Sleeping Beauty.
I guess. I mean, some kids, it depends on where they're at. Like, if you grew up a Pirates fan, okay, which I did, okay, I grew up going to a lot of Pirates games. Mm-hmm. We have a pirate parrot who is green and walks around and sleeps and talks to people. So if the pirate parrot came up to me when I was 12, it would have been like, cool, it's a parrot. If it's not a mascot you're used to seeing, it's probably a lot less exciting.
For me, it comes less from what kind of mascot it is and more from the reality that I know there's a person in there, and this person could be anybody.
Yes.
This person could be an ex-con. Like,
probably
who just couldn't get a job anywhere else.
Yeah, that's true.
So I just find it uncomfortable. We went to the same college, and we have a mascot there, and it was a small college, and so you knew that you knew the person inside, even though you couldn't identify who it was.
Yeah.
Though there were a couple times when I knew exactly who it was by the way they were walking.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you know, you know.
But at the same time, you can't have a conversation with that person. You can't recognize them as a person. You have to recognize them as the mascot. And it just, for me, it's a no-go. I really dislike it.
I see that. I think it depends on the situation. Like, if it's a mascot that comes up to a little kid and is just like, hey, kind of like, you're just, having a good time, great. If it's a mascot that's trying to get you to do something, that's where I draw, where I'm like,
sure.
I don't like it. Like
If it's
that's
more than just the hey, high
hey, high
five,
five, keep going. Like yeah, that's fine. When
like
it's
when they come and sit down next to you and try to like, I don't know.
eat your food, like
I've never had that happen.
well, or pretend to,
Dude,
you
I
know.
would sock that thing so quickly if it reached for my nachos.
Yeah, well, it's not like they can eat through the mask, but
That's true.
it's you know a thing of just like a mascot sitting there reaches over, pretends to grab your food, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Um, I
You have a hot take?
I do. I think, and I think this might be why I'm a little bit better on mascots than you would be. The worse the team is, the more crucial their mascot is. Okay.
Packers do not have a mascot.
No, the Steelers don't have a mascot.
Yeah, they
Okay.
do.
Well, they don't. They have a mascot, but we don't use him.
Oh,
Right? Because we have other cultural things that go into the Pittsburgh Steelers. We don't. Okay,
do
we
you guys have a mascot,
yeah.
but he's never there?
He's never there.
You're
like,
kidding.
Yeah. I think he may have been retired, or he may just be something that officially we have this guy, but he just never shows up. But if you have a terrible team, you better have a good mascot. Okay? Or if you have like even like a minor league team where it's like this is not exciting, you got to have a mascot there to hype everybody up. Again, I was a Pittsburgh Pirates fan. The Pittsburgh Pirates are horrible. They have been horrible since I was born. 20 years before I was born, they were horrible. So the Pittsburgh the Pittsburgh Pirate Parrot, that was a lot, is really crucial to Pittsburgh baseball culture because we don't have good baseball.
Okay.
Right. So you have to have something like that as an
keep people
identifier.
entertained a
Right.
little bit.
What's the Cubs? Do the Cubs have a mascot?
If they did, it was probably a little bear.
Probably. We have that. I would again. I think
I haven't done any research on this yet. So
I think again of like the Philly Fanatic, who you don't know who that is.
Nope.
But I don't think the Phillies
sounds like a warlock
had
to me.
Yeah, it kind of looks like one.
Okay.
And but I think probably around the time that the Fanatic was created, they weren't a very good baseball team. You would like the Yankees would never have to create a mascot, right? Because the Yankees have enough going for them that they don't need that.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So if
Brooklyn
you're
Dodgers couldn't even really have a mascot.
well, they're not in Brooklyn anymore.
Where are they now?
Los Angeles.
No kidding.
Dude, the Dodgers moved in like the 70s.
No, they didn't.
Pretty sure.
I thought Brooklyn Dodgers was like a historical.
It
Anyway,
was historic.
we're gonna take a look at that when we leave. Today on the show, we've got Crewed Up. We've got Question of the Day. What did we learn? Obviously, we're looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to Crewed Up. I think that's gonna be a lot of fun.
One.
So we're gonna go research. We'll be back in 30, and we'll see you guys then.
All right, sounds good. All right, we are back.
We're back. Oh, the things that happen in the studio.
Yep, it was exciting.
I just like to start out by saying that to answer the question that's on everybody's mind still, the Brooklyn Dodgers. The Brooklyn Dodgers are now, just so everybody knows, they are in fact the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yeah. Just out of curiosity, what year?
Right, I was getting to that. They
year,
moved
Tyler?
to Los Angeles before the 1958 season. They officially announced the move on October 8th,
We could just
1957.
rewind to the beginning of this episode where I said they're in Los Angeles, and you went, "No, they moved."
To be perfectly clear, I was taking my information from Captain America,
Who pointedly was
said
around in World War II.
the Brooklyn Dodgers. I don't know. Why would they move? I understand money, but in my mind, if I know something to be true, I'm never gonna assume the Green Bay Packers moved somewhere. Now that being said, I would also know right away if they did.
Yes, you of all people definitely would.
I'm a big Packers fan, big time Packers fan.
Yeah, I'm gonna start off with some of the mascots I found. Now before we get into some that I maybe hadn't heard of before, the Philly Fanatic. I don't know
Yes,
if you
I saw pictures of
you
him.
look at
Yeah.
he's wild.
He is
Okay.
crazy. Big green, furry,
Looks huggable, right?
big nose.
Yeah. He's known for being a chaos.
Yes, he's actually sometimes he has like rude, kind of mean things that he does.
Want to know the number one most interesting fact I found about the Philly
I
Fanatic?
would, yes.
He's the most sued mascot in sports.
How many times has he been
He's
sued?
been sued 4 times.
Oh, that's not as many as I thought
Not
you
as
were
many
going to
as you
say.
may have thought, but in turn, he is the most sued mascot in sports history.
What has he gotten sued for?
Recent, 2012, he was sued by a woman whom he allegedly threw into a pool at a hotel.
Why was he at a
I have
hotel?
no idea. The woman was claiming that she had suffered shock, a herniated disc, and several other
From being thrown into a pool?
severe and permanent injuries to her head, neck, back, body, arms, and legs, and other
Boy, you'd think
tissues.
she got hit by a car.
Yeah, you'd think. Um, there are other things. He had, I believe, climbed up onto a woman's lap in the middle of a
Yeah, I probably shouldn't do that.
but feet first.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Would well.
How does that work?
So he just like used a woman to like climb up to be up, like, waving at the crowd, and just stepped right onto her, and apparently she suffered injuries because of that. So he was sued for that.
Okay.
The problem is, apparently, not to spoil it for anybody, but there are real people in these mascots. You can't really identify who was in the mascot at the
Yeah,
time.
right. So it's just
So
the
like,
organization.
yeah, so like the woman suing the Fanatic was suing both of them, and then was suing basically anybody else who may have been in it at the time. Like she couldn't.
Did she win the case?
I haven't seen another article on it,
Okay.
but she basically was suing whoever was in the suit, but couldn't identify them legally. So
I found early on, like I didn't do a whole lot as far as like history, but early on the word mascot came from the French word mascotte, meaning a charm or a talisman that brings good fortune, which makes sense. Like we would want this person to identify our team and bring us luck. Um, and they originally started having mascots around like military schools. So they would have like the Spartans, that was kind of the original type of
yeah,
mascots,
that makes sense.
except the first mascot was the San Diego Chicken.
A San Diego Chicken?
The San Diego Chicken.
Why?
Well, it was in 1974 and things were weird in the 70s.
Yeah, there are probably more weird things that were happening in San Diego.
Yes.
Yeah.
The idea was exactly what you think. They wanted somebody to entertain the people during in between innings and stuff like that.
As you do.
And so he was the Padres mascot. He was called the KGB Chicken.
Why?
That was the name of the radio station he was representing. It had nothing to do with the Soviet
It's
KGB.
the 70s, dude. It could have been anything.
It had nothing to do with the KGB.
Oh,
Though
that's hysterical.
the KGB radio station was named that not because they were claiming to be KGB, but they were definitely using it as a cultural reference of how edgy they wanted their radio station to be.
Interesting.
So that's like KGB became a cultural way to say edgy or it became a cultural verb.
So it'd be like going, oh, that's so KGB.
Yes, exactly.
We should bring that back.
I don't think so.
I kind of think it's fun.
There are better things.
That is
to bring back.
that's a fun
How
slang.
about nifty? We'll bring back nifty.
Nifty or KGB? Let
That's
us know in the
nifty.
comments.
Yeah. Did you find any weird mascots out there?
Oh, I definitely did. Do you want me to go first?
No.
Okay.
I found the Portland Pickles. His name is Dinger.
Let me find a little picture.
All it is just a guy in a pickle suit, and he walks around, and people don't know if he's supposed to be approachable or not.
Okay.
He's just a guy in a pickle suit. That's all it is.
Dylan the Pickle is what I'm saying.
Dylan the Pickle?
Dylan. Oh.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great.
He for the viewers out there, he looks like this.
That's great. Yeah, he has a little bit of an overbite.
Yes, definitely I don't know how you can have an overbite and an underbite at the same time. But this guy,
Larry the cucumber.
yes, exactly, yes.
The University of California, Irvine. I heard of this one before, and I think it's hilarious. Peter the Anteater.
Okay,
You don't necessarily need to look him up. It's just an
it's
anteater.
just a
It's
live
just
anteater.
no. It's a guy in an anteater costume. It's kind of great.
You kind of have like a nose that's just kind of flopping
Yep.
around. That's amazing.
Well, I mean, no, not really flopping around, but I found the Mad Ants, the Fort Wayne Mad Ants in Indiana, and it is literally a guy in a
Oh, I
red
saw that guy.
ant costume. He's
Yeah.
got like two antenna, and he actually looks like pretty epic.
Huh.
I don't know. I think they may have gotten rid of him and changed out. I don't know because he was like too aggressive.
Yeah.
But he looked like an.
How do you have a mascot that's too aggressive?
I know he looked incredible.
That's awesome.
You've got the gritty Philadelphia Flyers, weird.
Yeah.
And then I found the Vortex.
Okay.
It is literally a cyclone from the Concordia University in Texas. It looks like an ice cream cone, but it's
Okay.
supposed to be a tornado. So I found that kind of interesting. But those were the weirdest mascots that I found.
That is interesting.
It
The
looks
color's weird.
It looks like it's not quite put together. It looks like it was a mock-up, and then they
Yeah.
were like, you know what? Let's just run it.
This is a student campaign that ran out of time.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a senior who had a really great idea, brought a bunch of freshmen along,
Yes.
and they didn't catch the vision.
Yeah.
So-
We both had that issue.
yeah, absolutely. They're like, well, I guess I'm just out. So you look back, what have you done?
Okay. Tyler, I have some that were wild.
Okay.
First I have, let me talk about the Stanford tree.
I saw that one. It's literally just a tree.
It's a bunch of pieces of green put on a person with angry eyes.
With angry, it's an angry tree.
Yep. It's there are tennis shoes sticking out of the bottom of it. It looks like a student art project, and I'm not talking about a student at Stanford.
Oh my word! It's got buck teeth. Holy
One of
moly!
the articles I saw said it changes every year because it just looks like a student art project that probably falls apart every year.
That's hilarious. Oh, retire that sucker.
I have three more.
That's worse than a Christmas. I think there's a Christmas tree out there too, or is that this one?
It might be this one. It would make sense that they just put lights on it.
That looks awful. That looks like you ordered it from Oriental Trading for VBS.
It's rough.
It's rough.
The next three I have are all what we might be able to define as nightmare fuel.
Okay.
Okay? Let me introduce you to Freddy Fever, who is the mascot for the Indiana Fever.
Oh. Oh. What is it?
I have no idea.
That looks like a big red Muppet.
I almost wonder if they went with the idea of Fever Dream.
Whoa.
Because
That looks like Bing Bong mixed with anger.
you're completely correct.
You
Viewers,
guys got to look this up.
please.
Freddy Fever.
If
I
you're
can't even.
listening to- yeah.
I can't even describe it to you.
yeah,
Like
if you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please go look these up as we're talking about them because your context is needed for these. This guy looks like the Kool-Aid man went on meth.
and it's posing with Caitlin Clark.
Yes.
That's messed up.
Yep. All right, I got two more.
Okay.
Friar Dom.
What?
Friar Dom.
Oh my. That's crazy. How do you do that? It literally looks like the nun, but a guy and a mascot.
It looks like something out of a low-budget Doctor Who episode. And
Yeah, it does.
it looks horrible. Like, how is this supposed to...
That is terrifying.
It's at Providence College.
That's absolutely terrifying. I don't. This isn't even funny. I mean, this is supposed to be a comedy podcast,
Yeah,
but this is just
horrifying.
this is terrifying. Why would you? I would know. How do you get kids to come on board and say, "Yeah, that's my team"? You know, I want to go to Providence.
Apparently, Providence's first mascot was a bunch of Dalmatians,
Yeah.
and yeah, they just changed it out for Friar Dom.
You'd think it'd go the opposite
Yeah,
way.
you would definitely think it. I have one more,
Okay, what do you got?
which I think is okay. The New Orleans Pelicans.
Yeah.
Okay, they have Pierre the Pelican, who's pretty decent.
Yeah.
I like Pierre. And then they have King Cake Baby
What?
as a secondary mascot. The Cake Baby is a tradition in New Orleans around Mardi Gras.
Yep. Okay.
That if they find
Oh.
Tyler just found it.
Oh, he's wearing underpants.
It's awful.
That's like Chucky.
Yes, it's like Chucky, but worse. But 8
Life
feet tall.
size. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Cake Baby is a tradition around Mardi Gras where they would bake a small plastic baby into like a cake, and whoever gets the baby in the cake, it's like good luck for the rest of the year.
Which sounds like maybe the worst tradition of all time.
Yes. Which that type of thing has been done for years. Like you put something in a dessert, whoever gets it, gets to
For sure. But a baby?
Yeah.
Probably not.
And they made a mascot. Guys, this looks like the most demon spawn mascot you've ever seen in your life.
It looks like something that would be left at an abandoned amusement park. More about that in episode 1.
Yes. Abandoned. Yes. Yeah. If you've seen Phineas and Ferb, take the floating baby head, make it
Porcelain.
and make it
Give it a bib.
death itself.
Guys,
Death incarnate.
this is bad. We need to boycott New Orleans Pelicans.
I would boycott the Pelicans before I'd even boycott Providence. Because
absolutely,
this is the worst mascot I've ever seen in my life.
That is absolutely wild.
So.
I can do one more.
Okay.
Do you see anything about Rumoon, the Tasmanian devil?
No.
Why don't you go ahead and look that up, or look on our show doc?
Okay.
It's not great. It's for the yeah. Yeah.
Yikes, dude.
They wanted to create a mascot for the AFL club in Tasmania.
Okay.
That would be culturally relevant and approachable. That's what they said. They said it was going to be approachable. They made a Tasmanian devil.
The Looney Tunes Tasmanian devil is more approachable than this.
Yes, he is. He absolutely is.
And I wouldn't call him approachable.
They got roasted on Reddit for this.
As they should.
They said definitely hideous yet adorable territory, which I don't know what that means. Someone said, I'm going to love having to explain to North Americans why the flagship club for one of our states is headed up by a taxidermied rat. Someone else said that's out of a horror movie. Someone said I want to cry. And someone said it looks like a New York subway rat. And it does.
All of those things are true.
It is a 6.5 foot tall black standing rat.
Take Chuck E. Cheese, make him skinny, give him black fur, and really big teeth.
And hunched over.
Yeah. Basically, yeah.
And claws.
Make it Igor.
Yes.
Take Chuck E. Cheese,
Chuck E. Cheese, make him Igor.
You're good. You know exactly what we're talking about.
But be happy because it's sustainably sourced. Because it's made out of...
It's not sustainably conceived.
No, it's sustainably sourced, though, because it's made out of recycled school uniforms.
Good. Well, that's a good thing because they're going to have to, recycle it next year.
Yeah, they're going to have to when nobody comes on board with it. I got a couple interesting facts here. Rocky, the mountain lion, the Denver Nuggets mascot, guess how much he earns in salary per year? He is the highest paid mascot, I think, of any team.
Are we saying the mascot's salary or the person inside's salary?
Obviously, the person inside.
Okay, because sometimes people will do stuff like that where it's like, oh, we pay the mascot, type thing, but it's not actually a mascot. I'm gonna say he earns $400,000 a year.
$625,000 annually.
I was not as far off as I thought.
No,
I was
you were right in the ballpark. But
Yeah.
$625,000 for walking around in a big
long
suit.
line of work.
I know, seriously. Like you could make a killing on that. The New York Mets, who are in New York, they are unveiling a 5-borough mascot race this year, which is actually kind of a cool thing. Basically, they have a mascot for each of the boroughs. Can you name all the boroughs?
Nope.
Can you try?
Nope.
Do you know what a borough is?
Nope. I was really hoping you were going to move on.
New York is split up into 5 boroughs.
Okay, so is it like Queens?
Yes.
Okay, so it is those, like the districts.
Yeah, but they're called boroughs.
Okay,
Districts is from the Hunger Games.
Okay. That's true.
Okay.
Queens, Brooklyn, Manhattan,
Yep.
Long Island? No, that's Manhattan. Nope. Bronx?
Yes. And the last
Yonkers.
one is Staten Island.
Staten Island.
Yep.
Okay.
So
I did better on that than I
you
thought I
did,
would.
yeah. Once you figure out what a
Borough
was.
Who else calls it a borough?
Everybody in the world.
I mean, in terms of anywhere else in any other city.
Yep. It's always called a borough.
Really?
Yep.
Like
splitting up a major city into different sections, it's called boroughs.
We call them towns. And
No.
I'm from Pittsburgh. You had Italian town, you had Chinatown, you had.
Yeah, you guys are probably wrong.
Or we called it the Polish district.
It's called a borough.
Okay.
They're I don't know. I'm just kind of fighting.
Am I wrong here? Am I completely wrong?
I'm just kind of fighting for something here.
I know.
So.
Like,
there's probably more
wrong.
nuance to it.
Okay.
Anyway, they're doing a 5-borough mascot race during in between some of their innings. For Brooklyn, guess what the mascot is?
A Dodger would be really funny.
Nope.
But that's is it
something that is known for, that Brooklyn is known for?
Captain America.
Nope. Pizza slice. Okay,
that's going to be controversial because every district, every borough, if you will, of New York thinks that they have the best pizza.
Yeah, but it's pretty well known that it's Brooklyn is kind of where it originated. As when you think of New York style pizza, you think Brooklyn. Also Brooklyn style pizza.
I've only had it in Yonkers. So.
All right. Manhattan is a pretty easy one.
Statue of Liberty.
Skyscraper.
Okay.
Staten Island.
Ferry.
A ferry. Excellent work, Joel. The Bronx. This one is probably harder. A stern giraffe, because that's where the.
Is that where the zoo is?
That's where the zoo is.
Ah, gotcha.
I think. I'm pretty sure that's. I mean, obviously, a giraffe. I don't know why else.
It's not like you're like, oh, it's the Empire State Building. Let's make a giraffe.
Yeah, let's do a giraffe. And then Queens is a subway car with a pigeon on top. So these are the 5 mascots who are doing a race.
Yeah,
okay. It's kind of a fun, fun thing.
Yeah,
that's
like
coming
that.
up this year. Do you have any interesting factoids?
No, I am ready to move on if you are.
Okay, I've got one more thing.
Okay.
There's a Florida man and who has been pursuing a record of taking the most pictures with the most mascots.
Okay.
Guess how many since 1992? How many?
92?
How many different mascots he's taken a picture with?
It's in Florida. There are a lot of colleges in the South.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna aim high. What I think is aiming high.
Okay.
I'm gonna say 2,700.
Yeah, you aimed high.
Okay. Did I go really high?
You aimed about as high as Michigan.
Okay. Should I go way down?
Yeah.
Like 150?
Yeah, I don't know. How many mascots do you think there are in the world?
A lot.
Yeah.
Bro, if this dude's doing colleges, high schools.
Yeah, this isn't his life. He's just trying to set a record.
Okay. You put Florida man and trying to set a record in the same sentence. I'm going to assume he's going all out.
250.
250. Okay.
250. Like, it's impressive. But you went way over.
Florida man.
You're like, this is his life.
This sounds like a Florida man headline of like he got like 2,500 pictures.
That's wild.
That makes sense to me. Okay,
wild.
that's hilarious though.
All right, moving
All right.
on.
Crude up, crude up, crude up, crude up.
Crude up.
Okay, so for this week's Crude Up, we are going to be doing
Crude
a
up.
snake draft style
Yep.
of, I would say we're stealing off of Leverage. Okay, we're stealing off of Leverage this week. But
Yes,
we're
the TV show
yes,
Leverage.
great show, by the way.
Good show.
Love that show. We are going to be doing a thief, a grifter, a hitter, a mastermind, and a hacker
For
for
an art heist.
an art museum heist. Yes.
Yep. So we're doing Crude Up, putting together a team for this art heist, and it has to be mascots.
Mm-hmm.
So who are the best mascots to put together for a team for our art heist?
Yeah.
All right, we're doing rock, paper, scissors. Just out of one, see who goes first. Ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Okay, you go first.
All right.
Doing a snake draft, I get 2 in a row.
All right. For my thief, I am taking the Penn State Nittany Lion.
Oh.
So if you look at the Penn State Nittany Lion, he's very thin.
Yep.
He is very agile. A huge part of his routine is being very athletic, doing flips, doing one-handed push-ups, that type of thing. I think that he would be an excellent choice for sneaking in and out of a building, hanging from wherever he needs to hang. That is my choice.
I think you are right on there, except I think I have a better one, and that is for thief, I'm going to take Cosmo the Cougar, who is BYU's counterpart.
Cosmo the Cougar.
Cosmo the Cougar, he does the most athletic things. You see him all over reels and everything. He's the guy who does the push-ups on the folding tables and then goes up the level, and then goes up the level, and then goes up a level.
Oh yeah, I've seen that dude.
Yeah.
That guy. Yeah. Very impressive.
Yeah, Cosmo the Cougar. He is probably the most elusive mascot that there is.
I'll give you that one. That's a good pick. That is
All
a
right.
solid pick.
I'm getting a second one here in a row. So I've got my thief, who is Cosmo the Cougar. I'm thinking, what am I thinking you're going to take? Because I want to, if any of these are at risk, I want to keep those. For the hitter, Muscle, the guy who's kind of going to get me out of a tough situation, security guards, that sort of stuff. I'm going to go with Benny the Bull.
Ooh.
Benny the Bull from Chicago, the Chicago Bulls.
Look at Benny the Bull.
Kind of a big, strong dude. I think he's going to be able to get me out of anything.
Okay.
All right, what do you got?
You got 2.
Yep.
Oh, did you already take 2? You did take 2. My bad.
I took 2.
For my grifter, I'm going to take...
Grifter, an actor for diversions.
I'm going to take the Minnesota Vikings Viking, who is actually the only human in professional sports mascots.
Yeah, that's not actually true, because I saw that they said that, and it wasn't true.
Really? Okay.
Yep,
Who else
the
is there?
Boston Celtics Lucky the Leprechaun is a human.
Oh, interesting. Okay. With that said,
You're taking...
I do believe that as a Viking, he could be very distracting, and yet the human ability to kind of be more able to change and act in different styles, I think would be a very, very worthy part there.
Okay.
So do I take 2?
Yeah, you take 2.
Okay. I am now going to take my hacker.
Okay.
I'm taking Jackson DeVille.
Who in the world is
Jacksonville
Jackson?
Jaguars.
Okay.
The hacker was really the wild card for me.
It was,
I really
because...
only found one that I thought seemed like a good option.
Oh, I got a good one.
I felt like his whole persona is a very techie, very modernized feeling of very, kind of feels like a cool kid type who knows his way around the internet. So, I took Jackson DeVille for my hacker.
Okay. Gotcha. So you're sitting with the whole team right now?
I'm still needing my hitter and my mastermind.
Right. So who are you sitting with for your whole team right now?
I have the Vikings Viking, the Penn State Nittany Lion, and Jackson DeVille.
All righty. I'm sitting on my thief. I've got Cosmo the Cougar. Hitter is Benny the Bull. Next up, let's see. I've got 2 picks. I'm probably gonna hit my grifter and hacker here back to back. For my grifter, my actor for diversions, I'm gonna go with Gritty from the Philly Flyers.
You said for Grifter?
Yep.
Nice.
He is,
If nothing else, for the alliteration.
yeah, Gritty the Grifter.
Yeah.
Oh,
I like it.
that. Yeah. But I mean, as far as diversions go, this guy can get anybody's attention. I don't necessarily need somebody smart for the grifter,
That is true.
but I need someone who can take somebody's attention, hold it for a long time. And I think Gritty could do that because he's provocative enough in the sense of, edgy. He's holding your attention because he's kind of a jerk.
Yeah.
And so I think he would be good for the grifter. For the hacker, I'm going with the Toronto Raptors.
Okay.
As in the Raptor. Because you know what Raptors can do? They can open doors. They also have claws, which means they can type on a computer. Okay? They're very smart. They have outsmarted humans several times, especially in Jurassic Park. And so I think the Toronto Raptors is a safe bet here for hacker.
I think that is a safe bet.
So I'm going with that. I think they could hack pretty much any system on the planet.
Yeah, I'm looking at him. He seems like a smart guy.
He is.
Yeah.
All right, you're up.
Okay. My last 2. For my hitter, I'm going to take the Phoenix Suns Gorilla.
Yes, that was my backup.
Okay.
I'm glad you took him because
he's a great option, dude.
Yes,
he's a
gorilla.
I would say one of the most athletic mascots out there as well. He does do a lot of dunking competitions, a lot of, but also does a lot of like play acting where he'll be like beating up, fans from other teams and stuff like that. So, yeah. So I'd say he's a safe bet as a hitter. And my mastermind.
Yep.
I'm going with Friar Dom.
Friar. Say it
that man. That man has otherworldly help and getting him through the day. That man.
Friar. No, that's
for a mastermind.
Friar Dom for the mastermind. I mean, somehow he worked his way into a job. So, I mean, he's a smart dude. Yeah. He is a very smart dude.
I'm very pleased with that pick.
That's a great pick.
Okay. Who you got left?
For the mastermind, I'm going with an kind of an unsung mascot because he's not great as a mascot. It wasn't well thought out for him to be the amp up guy for an entire school. But for my mastermind, which is the only pick I have left, for my mastermind, he works perfectly because he is exactly that. He's a mastermind. He's as smart as they come. I'm taking John Harvard, the Crimson Pilgrim.
Hey, that's a great pick.
Yes, from Harvard University. What else do I need to say? John Harvard, the Crimson Pilgrim. I mean, he is going to set up this heist better than anybody I could ever think of. Total here. My mastermind from top down. Mastermind is John Harvard, the Crimson Pilgrim. My grifter is Gritty from the Philly Flyers. My hacker is the Toronto Raptor. My thief is Cosmo, the Cougar from BYU. And my hitter, the muscle, is Benny the Bull from the Chicago Bulls.
Okay, I have for my mastermind Friar Dom.
The Friar Dom.
For my grifter, I have the Minnesota Vikings Viking. For my thief, I have the Penn State Nittany Lion. For my hacker, I have Jackson DeVille from the Jaguars, and my hitter is the Phoenix Suns Gorilla.
There you go. Two pretty strong teams. I think we'd be able to do any art heist pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. I think it's a good group.
Good stuff.
Let us know in the comments who won.
As always, yep. Yeah. Let us know.
Question of the day.
If you could delete a mascot from existence, who would it be?
Oh, after today, I would delete King Cake Baby.
Yes.
Without a doubt. I need Friar Dom to get me through the art heist. but I do not win. King Cake Baby should not exist.
You're totally right.
Frankly, if I could delete the entire tradition of baking a plastic baby into a cake, I'd do it in a heartbeat. How about you?
Okay. So I would say that I would delete the Rumoon, the Tasmanian AFL mascot, the Tasmanian Devil, but I don't think I'm going to have to. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think I would totally delete him from existence because I would want to use my pick in a better way. Who I would delete Friar Dom. He really bothers me.
Really?
Yes.
That much?
Well, remember what I said at the beginning of the episode that I think every interaction with a mascot is awful.
If Friar Dom came over and tried to give you a hug and get you hyped up,
I would.
my soul
I
will
would
leave my body.
I would deck him so quickly.
You will be the most sued participant at a student sports game.
I would not hesitate for a second. He would hit the floor very quickly.
Yeah.
So I would delete him from existence. Oh, what's your question?
My question is, you have been placed in charge of your school's mascot committee, and you have to name or create a mascot.
Yeah, I've thought about this.
And all you have to work with is the hats. You have to create, and it is the dumbest name ever.
The hat?
The hats. Because
that changes the whole question.
You have to.
I thought you were going to ask me, hey, you want to create a mascot? What are you going to create?
No. I'm going with
which I've got an answer for, by the way.
Stupid one.
The hat.
The hat. You have to work with some kind of hat.
Okay.
Okay.
I
hats
think
is
I got
bad,
it.
but like some kind of headwear that you have to do. What kind of headwear are you going with?
Yeah, I go top hat. I go top hat.
Okay.
I think there's a lot you can do with a top hat. You can make it really tall. Think about the student section. You get a bunch of top hats going. You can get monocles. You're basically becoming the planters, Peanut Man. I would go more along the lines with the top hat. I think you can go a lot of places with that. I hate it, but I wish you wouldn't have given me that prompt, but it's okay.
I would probably be going more on the lines of a Southern Belle, massive hat of some kind.
You're talking like Kentucky Derby type stuff?
Kentucky Derby stuff is where I'm
for
going.
Everybody? What about guys?
Huh? Well, for the mascot. And then
So the mascot's a girl?
Well,
you can't have a guy wearing one of them.
There are some pretty outrageous male hats at the Kentucky Derby, though, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong about this.
I mean, pirates.
Yeah.
More about that in episode 3.
Yeah.
Pirates wear big hats.
Yeah, or like a sombrero or something of that order.
Sombrero would probably be culturally inappropriate, though.
Maybe not Cinco de Mayo if you have a game then.
True.
Very cool.
I thought you were going to ask me if I could come up with a mascot, what it would be. Which do you have an answer for that? I do.
Give yours first.
So I've thought about this for years and years. I think that there is a blank spot in the market as far as really, really good mascots. Think about this. The Yetis.
That's a great pick.
I know. Nobody has chosen the Yetis. Okay? You just need nobody knows what a Yeti looks like. And it's a blank slate.
That is true.
The only thing people think about Yetis is that they're scary, which is exactly what you want in a mascot. There's a lot of good reasons to choose the Yetis. I mean, you've got to be good sports wise, or else you're kind of going to be a laughing stock, But I mean, I feel like that's true with any mascot. So the Yetis,
yeah,
absolutely.
That's a really good one. I think for me, I'd pick the amoebas.
That's
because again, you can do whatever you want.
Okay.
and you can do
the amoebas.
The amoebas,
as in the little
things.
Are they single cell organisms?
Yes. So you can create whatever you want it to look like.
Are you sure they're single cell?
They're pretty close to single. They might be divorced, but
why would you choose? Yes, amoebas are single-celled organisms.
Yes,
they're made up of only one cell and belong to a group
of
organisms known as a protozoa.
Yeah, I guarantee you it hasn't been done. And you could do kind of whatever you want, and you can make like there was Benny the Blob was one of them. Was a mascot out there.
The Syracuse Orange.
Syracuse Orange. You can do weird stuff, but do something fun.
Sure.
And to me, actually having multiple mascots in the same genre is super fun. Where you would have multiple types of, you could pull out a different costume every week, but it's the same guy or whatever.
Sure.
I think you could do a lot with it.
You know who we haven't mentioned at all this episode? The Oregon Ducks. I mean, talk about famous mascots.
True.
Do you know who they are?
Yeah.
Okay. They have new jerseys like every single week because they have deals with Nike.
Yeah. And some of them are sweet.
Yeah, they are.
And some of them are not.
That's why half the people cheer for them is because of their uniforms.
Interesting. Didn't know.
What we learned today.
All right, Joel, what did we learn today? I learned that Tasmanian devils are not something that should be made into a mascot. They are not lovable. They are not approachable. No matter what you say or how many sustainably sourced pieces of clothing you use to make the mascot.
Yeah, make sure that if you're going to do something sustainably sourced, it's sustainably thought out. I'm going to go a little bit more broad with this. I guess we learn this every week, but just because you could
doesn't
mean you should. Because
boy, if that's not the 21st century, I don't know what is.
Because most of all, king cake baby. Like somebody said, "Hey, this is a local tradition."
Pray for king cake baby.
Like we could have done, and you could have done so many cool things. You could have made a jazz musician.
Yeah.
You could have done
Sammy the saxophone.
Sammy, yeah.
Holy moly.
Sammy, yeah.
That would be a great mascot.
You could have had a group. You could
Sammy the saxophone could lead the band.
Yes. You could have had a band. You could have had him and like an upright bass walking around.
What if you have a whole band of mascots?
Yes.
You've got Dominic the drummer.
Yeah.
You've got Sammy the saxophone, Benny the bass, Pete the piano. What else do you have?
Trumpet. Terry the trumpet.
Terry the trumpet. I mean, we should go into that. Is there a market for
Tommy trombone?
Is there a market for coming up with mascots? Because that is a killer idea.
Yeah.
If your mascot, that's revolutionary. If your mascot is not just one mascot, but it's a group of mascots that has a specific purpose. What if you had a jazz band at all of your New Orleans Saints games?
That'd be phenomenal.
Just kind of playing over loudspeakers in between different things, like a live band.
And you could feature local musicians.
How crazy
all the time.
Gracious.
And they chose King Cake Baby.
Well, the Saints didn't, but
that's true. The Saints did. The
locals,
Pelicans did.
Yeah, the Pelicans did. Gracious. Oh, my word. Hey, if you maybe listen to this are from New Orleans and you might be in charge of teams, mascots, and you want to give us a call. We'll
help you out.
We'll help you out with this. We are local experts on
we've only
mascots.
been doing this for a half hour, and we've already come up with better ideas.
Gracious. Yeah, seriously. Okay. Hey, if you guys have any ideas for a mascot, let us know. And I think we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
So.
Next week, we will be talking about the evolution of coffee drinks.
I love coffee.
I do too. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, excited about that one. Hey, we'll see you next time on Rapid Research. Thanks so much for being here. We really, really appreciate it. And we'll see you guys soon.